I want to talk about how it's unacceptable for us to be this far into Overwatch 2 and Mercy still isn't even on the table for a rework, giving her flawed and mostly useless and unfun kit. Yet they keep pumping her full of skins every single season. Disclaimer that this is only my opinion and I might also be talking about other characters I enjoy or am passionate about. I just wanted to talk, so I made this video. Now, usually with this type of thing, people like to dive into the character's past and how they used to function and blah, blah, blah. I don't really care to do a deep dive, so I'll just tell you. She used to be a heal bot with no eye-catching movement and mass res, and eventually, luckily for Blizzard, with multiple reworks and a dedicated fan base, with maybe a bit of Mercy hate sprinkled in, she molded herself into a movement-based pocket character thanks to a bug labeled and famously known as Super Jump.
Wow, that's fucking broken! That is disgusting! What a disgusting fucking mechanic! That is fucking disgusting! That is, bro! That's trash! Trash!
All of that to say, Blizzard had the perfect opportunity to make something new of her character going from Overwatch 2, and even at the end of Overwatch 1. Instead, I feel like we have leftover scraps of Moth Meta Mercy that luckily for them ended up not being a complete bust after the nerfs. I feel like her ult is a glorified ability that honestly would be cute as a cooldown instead of an ult. You never push with Mercy ult, it never feels defensive, it's not threatening, it's not empowering, it just feels like, hey, the bitch with wings is here, don't forget about me, for 15 seconds. On top of her kit being dated, going into Overwatch 2, the devs decided to make her super jump, the one thing Mercy mains practiced and perfected and found all these movement techs for, like super jump res, backwards G, slingshotting off of buildings and cover, etc. down to one button. Oh? In my opinion, that ruined her character because now there's not really a clear distinction on a high elo versus low elo Mercy. It all just looks like the same thing. Formerly in Overwatch 1, it looked like high elo Mercies like Aqua Boost, Tashi Zora, and Ellie Zal were playing a completely different game, but now, Mercy gameplay is just flaccid. Naturally, with Mercy's skill ceiling being dropped and everybody you know, including people who could never super jump or do Mercy's movement in Overwatch 1, all of a sudden are contesting, never dying, speeding around the map, etc. And in my opinion, the nerfs were bound to happen and they were horrible. She felt sluggish, boring, slow, and yeah, that's what happens when you make the low skill entry, high skill ceiling character into a low entry, low ceiling character. Now, if you're one of the people wondering why I and maybe a few Mercy enjoyers want a rework instead of just buffs, Luminum explained it best, and I can sum it up to Mercy as just a flawed character with no downsides at all, and if you ever buff her and she's good, she'll be too good and unfun to play against because of her good mobility, no healing fall off, and not needing to aim, along with her damage boost. Just for a second, imagine a Mercy super jumping and slingshotting around with 75 healing per second, and then add Valkyrie healing buff to that. No thanks. All of this including the fact that in 2025, Mercy, the pocket support, only gets good alt charge from healing. So you're rewarded for not playing the pocket character correctly. I would not want to play against that, even as a Mercy player. I would love to see a rework that's way more movement focused for Mercy, and I would love for her Valkyrie to either have something different or to be added as an ability and she gets a new ult. I'm not really a big fan of res, so I personally wouldn't mind if it got removed and replaced with a shorter, maybe weaker Valkyrie. The most fun I've had as Mercy is darting and zipping around, helping where I'm needed with damage boost, heals, or body blocking. I would kind of live for her being able to body block or tank a bit, maybe give shield or armor, I don't know. I just want her to tap into the whole guardian angel thing instead of playing spectator and hoping the DPS or tanks get the kill. I also feel like Overwatch 2 and Overwatch in general have a habit of losing the plot when it comes to character reworks. What I mean by that is they lose the character when reworking them or changing them. I'll give you $20 if you can guess the first character that comes to mind when I think of reworks. And you probably guessed correctly, but you're not getting 20. Huh. It's Symmetra, and I don't mean when they reworked her to DPS, it was just the buff. Sombra. I mean, they reworked them, and it seems like a band-aid rework or fix. When Symmetra was support, she received virtually no balance changes or attempts at adding or removing things to make her work. And the most loved version of her getting no help for, I think, 2 years is literally insanity. She doesn't even have to be viable in every comp because it's literally impossible to have a game full of viable characters. She just needs to be playable to her player base, in which she was, and then I guess they didn't get the results they wanted, so now we have DPSN. Which is sad because I love the concept of a shield generator and TP from Spawn. She used to give me utility support vibes, and I love a support that isn't just I heal and keep you up, you kill. She was sort of kind of like a background bodyguard type, like I'm behind you, I'm here, let's go. And I love that. I still, I'm delusional and I still hold out hope one day we'll get support Symmetra back, even though it'll probably never happen. Another failed rework and failed character direction, in my opinion, would also be Sombra. And I'm not even sure where to start because she's just simply not a character anymore. I mean, she can't stay invis, she can't kill because she doesn't have the damage. Her hack is useless after they remove the damage amped, and it doesn't even lock out abilities like it used to unless timed at the perfect second. And she's always banned, which is the cherry on top. She went from being a supportish scout DPS to being a whatever terrible thing Overwatch 2 made her into. I also found it weird how they keep flip-flopping with virus damage, and I just hate the ability altogether. Take it out. I feel like the support players who complain about Sombra and they aren't in high elo with coordinated dive in teams are just ones who don't want to adapt their playstyle in this position, but they're so used to not being punished, so when Sombra comes and snatches you up, you blame the character instead of your poor position and your other support's inability to turn around and peel. So yeah, go ahead and fix that. Honorable mentions are Ball. I'm not even sure what they added to him, but was it useless? And Hog, which as of now, his rework was actually reverted for some reason. So he no longer has his pig pen and he's back to just regular Hog one shot. Hog hook one shot. Which I don't really read the patch notes anymore, but I did kind of find that kind of interesting. Last thing I want to bring up was how I do not agree at all with hero bans for Overwatch. The reason being, Overwatch doesn't have enough characters that fill different niches to warrant bans. What I mean by that is, how many supports outside of Brig can hold it down against Dive? How many scout-like DPS are there outside of Sombra? How many pocket supports are there with good mobility like Mercy? The only category of characters that there are a decent amount of is Dive. Tracer, Genji, Venture, Ball, D.Va, Winston, Doom, Reaper, Lucio, Juno, Kiri. And I think Overwatch should have waited a bit for bans until they got caught up with characters because, simply put, I have always gotten on Overwatch to play the character that I want to play. I feel like the only way to genuinely learn the character's ins and outs is to trudge through even the worst matchups, in which I have, and that's exactly how I got to Masters with Brig and Mercy, and how I got to Diamond 2 with Mei, Sim, Widow, and Echo. I feel like you play your best when you really feel like playing your main character. Then when they're banned, it's kind of like, oh. I mean, I guess I can still play, even though I wanted my character I downloaded this game for. And I kind of really do feel bad for the Sombra mains because their character she's really hated for some reason. I personally don't see the hate. I don't find Sombra to be that bad to go against. I do find EMP to be annoying. But that's really about it. I'm never going against a Sombra that's just dropping me. Like, I don't really know what games y'all are playing. If you have a game where a Sombra is just dropping you and you just can't do anything, please let me see it. Please post the code. I want to see. I need to see these Sombras that y'all are going against that are just so unbearable and just make the game so unfun. Please let me know. But anyways, also, I find it funny that the bans were implemented and everybody was always complaining about Widowmaker. It's just like, oh, Widow, 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 Widow. Oh God, get Widow. Widow's just server admin. And now we have bans, but Widow's never banned. Instead, it's Sombra, which I found also that interesting. Hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble and give my opinions on Overwatch. And let's pray that Mercy's rework gets started soon. I just wanted to be able to play my character without losing one fight and immediately seeing Switch Mercy. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think Overwatch should have waited for bans? What are some of your rework ideas? Should she be reworked or should we just make a mobile support similar to Mercy? Are you team DPS sim or team support sim? Does Life Weaver scratch your utility support itch like Symmetra did? Until next time, stay gorgeous, stay hydrated, wish for the world. Mwah. I'm out.